Hey, welcome back to River Talk 2.0. It's time to learn a little something about interesting conversation. How to speak Southern.
I was just visited by the coffee queen. Let me wet my whistle.
Okay, wet your whistle there.
All right. Now
We like to whistle while we work.
I shall turn into the Southern gentleman on teaching these folks how to
Probably
speak
takes more than
Southern.
those spectacles and the hat, but I digress.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, and birds and all tropical fish, whoever's listening, watching, whatever, I'm going to teach you how to speak Southern. Here's our word for this day, and it is tacky.
Yeah.
T-A-C-K-Y. Now, that's an expression used by Southern females, and almost always in regards to wearing apparel, you see.
Oh, yeah.
Can mean anything from unfashionable to downright ugly. For instance, did you see that dress she was wearing, honey? It was so tacky.
Oh, yeah.
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 That's our word for today. We appreciate your attention. Thank you so much.
You hear things like that all the time at the beauty shop.
Oh, yeah.
That's my next project. I'm working on a new project called Down at the Beauty Shop.
That's a good idea.
It's kind of neat.
Yeah.
We're going to have to change the names to protect the guilty. How you doing, sir?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm good to see you, Ralph.
Good to be here.
Absolutely.
Distinguished gentleman.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Good to
see you.
Ralph Jarrells.
That's correct.
Where'd you grow up, Ralph?
I actually grew up in Columbia.
Sorry to hear that.
Well, you got to do it someplace.
You had to be somewhere.
Yeah, got to be somewhere.
And I was born in Spartanburg when my dad was stationed at Camp Croft, which was a World War II training base.
Okay.
And so when he was stationed there, we lived there. That's where I was born. Then he retired, and we moved we all moved to Columbia.
Okay. Was he still in military at that time? Did he go to Fort Jackson or?
Well, no, he ended up operating barbershops on Fort Jackson.
Is that
you
not
go,
the
buddy.
craziest thing in the
Why
world?
else would I be here?
Unbelievable.
But no, and,
Barbershops.
So managed to graduate from high school and start college, and then got a better deal. I started working in television.
You got a better deal and started working in television.
I thought it was a better deal.
Okay. He thought it was better. Okay. Now we set the record straight
really.
there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, and
Now, did you work in television in Columbia?
Yes.
Is that
I
right?
was news director of Channel 25.
Oh, okay.
I was too young to vote, but I was old enough to tell people what to think.
They do that today.
That's crazy.
You've taught a lot of people the thing.
It's good. That was where I started, and found out there was no money in it. So moved into marketing and advertising and spent the rest of my life doing
There
that.
you go. That's where the money is.
See-
Not just in that industry, but any industry.
Right.
Sales.
Sales.
Yeah,
See,
and
Jack and
getting
I
that
were in
brand
radio. We found out there's no money in it.
It
Now
didn't
we're
take
in
me long
TV.
to figure
There's
it
no
out when
money
I bought
in
a
it.
station.
Where are we going next? What's the deal here?
I realized I'm not going to sit here behind the microphone all day. I got to go make some money. It's all about sales.
It's fun, though.
It's always fun.
Absolutely.
They go hand in hand.
Yeah.
You got to have a good product, but you also got to sell it.
Yeah, I had managed to work for I was the vice president of the largest ad agency in the world. And
he just kind of holds that back on me.
yeah,
Yeah. What agency was that?
J. Walter Thompson.
I've heard
Oh,
of
yeah.
them.
Yeah.
Guaranteed.
I was in Detroit. We had Ford car and Ford truck, all of their advertising. And then our Chicago office that I worked at sometimes had Kraft Foods, and it was a big company.
Absolutely.
And
Now, what
there
time
wasn't
frame,
one
what
vice
years?
president.
What
There were a
years?
lot.
Are we talking about you had the Ford
That would have
account?
been about 40 years ago.
You're going to make me do it the hard way.
But did that, and actually the last 12 years that I worked at a company called Speedway Motorsports in Charlotte.
Sure.
Man, we owned a few racetracks.
Yeah.
Bristol, Charlotte, Atlanta, Texas, Las Vegas, Sonoma,
I
Kentucky,
think,
and New
I think there
Hampshire.
might have been a man named Smith involved with that
There
somewhere.
was.
Yeah.
Bruton was quite a character.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Well, you've got some real stories to tell so far in your life.
Barbershops and racing have come back full circle in that. So,
right.
yeah, television. It's kind of weird, man. Kind of weird. I need to maybe pick up the pen and do some writing because that's all. I think everybody has a story in them. I don't know if it'd be a story that you would publish, but I think everybody has like one great story in them.
that's what they've always said about writers, is that you shouldn't have too much. You shouldn't be too proud of the fact that you're a writer, because everybody's got a story if they're willing to sit down and write it.
Sure. It's a little tricky. How did you get into the writing deal? Because you were producing some heavy-duty video once upon a time. And
Started, the concept started when I was a teenager. The first story was about the 30 pieces of silver Judas was given.
oh, my goodness gracious.
And to me, it was always something that here's the most important talisman to the Christian religion. If Judas hadn't, quote, betrayed Christ, unquote, then there would never have been Christianity.
Sure.
So here is this very, very important talisman that disappears. And so that didn't make any sense to me. So the first story, called Ill-Gotten Gain, is a story of the 30 pieces of silver and how they got through time and space from Israel, 33 AD, to Charleston, current time.
Wow. The pilgrimage of the coin.
Yeah.
That's an interesting
Of course, they're
twist.
suitably cursed, which makes the story interesting.
Oh, okay.
So,
all the way to Charleston.
yeah.
Yeah, show the book.
Yeah, I couldn't find the kind of the angle there. I looked at the cover and I went, "That looks like Caesar."
Yeah.
It was one of them, yes.
Yeah, of the
Each Caesar did his own coin.
Yeah.
But I guess
good to be the king.
absolutely. You got the right.
That's
do
it right there. Who's your daddy?
But that was the first book, and it did okay.
Mm-hmm.
And my publisher said, "What you going to do now?" Or I asked the publisher, "What should I do now?" He said, "Write another book."
Yeah.
So that's the origin of Fiery Red Hair, Emerald Green Eyes, and a Vicious Irish
That's a
Temper.
long title there.
That is. That's a.
But
It
it's
is.
it's a short book.
Yes.
Yeah.
But the concept or the idea behind it is the story of Anne Bonny, who was the first female pirate. And she's from Charleston. And this is a bit unusual as a story because she is telling her life story to her granddaughter, and gave me a lot of latitude, but it also gave me a problem because it's been a long time since I was a 15-year-old girl or a 55-year-old woman.
Sure.
So that
Yeah.
process of how they think in order to write what they would say was my issue as a writer. And based on all the reviews, it's turned out pretty well.
Now, is this almost based in fact?
There is, I write generally historic fiction.
Mm-hmm.
And the good part about that is history, there's great holes in history where you don't know what goes on.
Sure.
So with Anne Bonny, there is a certain number of historic facts and certain big open areas. And so the facts are the skeleton, if you'll excuse that pun.
Okay.
But the facts are the skeleton, and I put the flesh on it the way I want it.
Okay.
And it, I don't know if that's the way anybody else writes. I've never been.
It'd be a neat angle, though, because I'm trying to get my head around it. I mean, I'm thinking if I'm the 15-year-old granddaughter and I'm hearing this story, it's almost like, okay, come on.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, that's got to be like heavy because you're dealing like women's place in society in general, and then how society deemed pirates. How did you even get to be on a pirate ship and accepted by the pirates?
And then take this back to 1720, which is when she was primarily a pirate. And women had their place, but it wasn't anywhere near
No.
the way she was.
And a lot of time, women on a ship was kind of considered bad luck.
They were.
Yeah, no
She dressed
kidding.
like a man for the first part of her pirating career.
How about that?
So.
How do you pull that off?
I haven't had to yet, so I don't know.
Okay. Well, we got to get you back. You come back another day?
I'll be glad
I'm
to.
intrigued by this. Wow, that's it. Ill-gotten gain is one of them. Like the story of the 30 pieces of silver and their trek across the world. That's good. That's deep stuff. Good meeting you. Hey, let's check out this video right now, and we'll be back with more River Talk.